Streaming right now at 5:30, more files released. Today, millions of new Epstein files now out in the public, weeks after the deadline. Those details next. Also breaking tonight, the White House is making a major move at the Federal Reserve, who President Trump has nominated to replace Jerome Powell after months of public criticism. Breaking tonight, Port Allen native Don Lemon now out of jail after being arrested. The former CNN anchor is facing serious federal charges, but says he was just doing his job. We'll have the latest on this developing story. Catherine O'Hara, a towering figure in comedy for decades, has died. What we are learning about her death as tributes pour in from friends and co-stars. The manhunt is on tonight in East Carroll Parish. What we are learning about the search for inmates who escaped from the Riverbend Detention Center. Let the good times roll no matter the temperature. From parishes across Louisiana to right here in the capital city, Mardi Gras season, the carnival season is officially underway. The parades rolling this weekend. Often imitated, never duplicated, the human jukebox ready to shine, where Southern University's marching band is performing this weekend fresh off a national honor. And meteorologist Henry Blake standing by with the Arctic air coming in.
You're watching WAFB's streaming newscast, live and local, with Dion Guillory. This is 9 News at 5:30.
We start streaming here tonight at 5:30 with another talk about another round of frigid weather in your forecast. Those frigid temperatures on the way. Henry Blake's standing by with what we can expect. Henry.
Hey, thanks, Dion. Giving you the first alert for the weekend. All weekend long, we've got hard freezes in store for both your Saturday and Sunday morning. Speaking of Saturday morning, it's going to be cold no matter what. We're going to be at least in the mid-20s for the Baton Rouge area. The wind is going to be blustery. That's going to make it feel much colder than it actually is. So hopefully you have those cold weather preps done by now. It is going to be on the sunnier side tomorrow, but you'll notice our temperatures for your Saturday planner only topping out in the 30s across the area, maybe even staying near freezing for parishes north of EBR. Sunday, that's going to be the coldest morning. We're talking about teens for much of the region. Low 20s for Sunday morning as you head closer to the coast because the wind is going to be settling down, and that'll allow those temperatures to fall even further. Be sure to protect all 4 Ps this weekend because we're talking about a hard freeze with temperatures below 32 degrees for several hours. So, Dion, we'll talk more about it in your extended forecast next.
All right, Henry, thanks. Breaking tonight, a major manhunt underway in East Carroll Parish after 8 inmates escaped from the Riverbend Detention Center. Authorities say 5 inmates remain on the run at this hour. Destin Brogan, Colin Lonnie, Krishan Salinas, Kevin Slaughter, and Kaplelin Vignair. All of them they escaped overnight. Now, 3 inmates have already been captured, but officials warn that the remaining escapees, several of them, are connected to crimes in East Baton Rouge Parish. We will have much more on that part of the story coming up at 6. If you know anything and if you've seen these guys anywhere, you're asked to call the East Carroll Parish Sheriff's Office at 318-559-2800 or 911. Journalist Don Lemon will be in federal court after he was arrested for allegedly taking part in an anti-ICE protest at a church in Minnesota. Ian Lee is in Minneapolis. More details on that Port Allen native, plus a new investigation into Alex Preddy's death.
Former CNN anchor Don Lemon was arrested Thursday night in Los Angeles. The Justice Department claims Lemon was part of this protest that disrupted a church service in St. Paul, Minnesota. The now independent journalist has said he was only covering the event.
Prosecutors have to show probable cause that there was an actual agreement to interfere with protected rights.
Also at the DOJ, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche says the Civil Rights Division is investigating the fatal shooting of Alex Preddy.
We're looking at everything that would shed light on what happened that day and in the days and weeks leading up to what happened.
Friday, demonstrators took part in a nationwide strike protesting the Trump administration's immigration policies. Some stores here in Minneapolis participated last week, but say they're struggling to survive because the presence of ICE is keeping customers away.
I already did it once. I cannot afford it another day. This has been my worst nightmare.
There are ongoing protests outside the Whipple Federal Building. Bruce Springsteen made a surprise appearance at a benefit concert in Minneapolis, singing his new protest song, Streets of Minneapolis.
Two dead left to die on snow-filled streets, Alex Pretty and Renee Good.
Proceeds are going to the families of Alex Pretty and Renee Good. Ian Lee, CBS News, Minneapolis.
A bipartisan spending deal to avert a partial government shutdown at midnight is on thin ice, with a standoff over Homeland Security funding holding things up. Senate Democrats reached an agreement with President Trump Thursday to separate DHS funding from the rest of the spending measures and fund the agency for 2 weeks. They threatened to vote against the package after federal immigration agents killed 2 people in Minneapolis. The compromise hit a snag when Republican Lindsey Graham refused to move ahead with a vote.
The clock is ticking, the nation is waiting, and the abuses of ICE must come to an end.
Hold the people accountable in ICE who may have broken the law, but stand up for those in the field trying to protect America.
The 2-week extension for the Department of Homeland Security was put into work on new rules for federal agents involved in ICE operations. Now, even if the measure does clear the Senate before midnight, the House will still need to vote on it. New tonight, the Justice Department is releasing millions more pages from the so-called Epstein files. The document dump comes weeks after the DOJ missed a congressionally mandated deadline to get all of this done. WAFB Washington correspondent Stephen Gowen has details on what officials are saying about the delay.
This latest release of files from the DOJ is the biggest disclosure they've ever made of documents related to Jeffrey Epstein, but now officials say they're done. On Friday, the Justice Department releasing more than 3 million additional files related to now-deceased convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The disclosure includes more than 2,000 videos and 180,000 images. The release comes after weeks of criticism. The department missed a congressionally mandated deadline in mid-December, but Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche said Friday the DOJ has now fully complied, even though more than 6 million files were initially flagged. Blanche said the DOJ overcollected evidence and was now withholding information that could jeopardize ongoing investigations or victim details. Blanche also pushed back on claims the DOJ shielded President Trump and their work.
This mantra out there that, the Department of Justice is supposed to protect Donald J. Trump, and that's what we were telling. That's not true. That was never the case. We are always concerned about the victims.
And the deputy AG also defending how long this process took, saying that extensive redactions had to be made to protect the victims. In Washington, I'm Stephen Gowen.
Stephen, thank you. Next tonight, a strange twist in the murder case of Luigi Mangione, as a man was arrested and charged with trying to break him out of jail. Authorities say the suspect went to the New York City jail where Mangione is being held, posing as an FBI agent. Elaine Keano has those details.
Police say they foiled a plot to break Luigi Mangione out of a federal jail in New York City. 36-year-old Mark Anderson of Minnesota has been charged for allegedly impersonating a federal officer. According to court documents, on Wednesday night, Anderson approached uniformed officers in the lobby of the jail, claiming he was an FBI agent in possession of paperwork signed by a judge, authorizing the release of a specific inmate. A federal law enforcement source tells CBS News that inmate was Mangione. When asked for federal credentials, police say Anderson showed officers his Minnesota driver's license and claimed he was in possession of weapons, which turned out to be this large barbecue fork and round steel blade.
The fact that this individual went to such great lengths, I think, does speak to sort of this larger movement behind Mangione.
Mangione has attracted a loyal following, with many gathering outside the courthouse before his hearings. Mangione is accused of gunning down United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. He was arrested in December of 2024 at a Pennsylvania McDonald's and has pleaded not guilty to all charges.
We're waiting on really the two most critical pieces of information. One, whether or not the feds can continue to pursue the death penalty. And two, whether or not that evidence that was obtained on Luigi Mangione's person and in his backpack when he was arrested initially can come into play in this trial.
Sources say there's no indication Mangione knew of plans to break him out of jail. For now, jury selection is set for September 8th. Elaine Quijano, CBS News, New York.
President Donald Trump's disagreements with Canada taking a new turn this week, now over aircraft. On Truth Social, the president saying he will decertify all Canadian-made aircraft in America until American-made Gulfstreams are certified in that country. He's also threatening to impose a 50% tariff on all Canadian airplanes sold in the U.S. Trump says all Canadian planes would be impacted. It is not fully clear yet whether Trump has the power to legally decertify aircraft. President Trump says he selected the best guy for the job, nominating former Morgan Stanley executive Kevin Warsh to lead the Federal Reserve. Once known as a hawk pushing for higher interest rates, Warsh has advocated for lower rates in the current economy. Natalie Brand explains.
He was the central casting guy.
At an Oval Office event Friday, President Trump touted his newly selected nominee to lead the Federal Reserve, Kevin Warsh.
I would say that this was the perfect candidate. This was not a surprise or anything. This was the man that's most qualified.
Warsh, a former Morgan Stanley executive, also served on the Fed Board of Governors from 2006 to 2011 during the global financial crisis.
At that time, it was very interesting. He was known to be a hawk. What does that mean? He likes interest rates high, which is contrary to what the president's talking about.
More recently, Warsh has publicly called the Fed's leadership broken and has advocated for lowering interest rates, aligning him with President Trump's criticism of current chair Jerome Powell. President Trump was asked if Warsh committed to lowering rates if he's confirmed.
No, but we talk about it. He certainly wants to cut rates. I've been watching him for a long time.
Lawmakers have signaled their concern about ensuring the independence of the central bank, and the DOJ inquiry into Chair Powell over the multi-billion-dollar renovation of the Fed's headquarters could impact Warsh's confirmation process.
Process precedes people, and this process of prosecution has to end before I'm willing to vote to confirm anybody, even somebody as good as Walsh.
Republican Tom Tillis's vote would be needed to advance Warsh through the Senate Banking Committee if all Democrats oppose the nomination. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Now to Consumer Alert. New inflation data shows price pressures at the wholesale level remain elevated. The Producer Price Index rose 0.5% in December, double what economists expected. Now, on a yearly basis, wholesale prices are up 3%, while core inflation, excluding food and energy, jumped even higher. Economists warn those increases could soon show up in prices we all pay for at checkout. Nearly 150,000 bottles of Mind Body Green Ultimate multivitamin dietary supplements are being recalled due to safety concerns that they do not have child-resistant packaging. These supplements pose a risk of serious injury or death to a small child if consumed. Parents are urged to put the multivitamins out of reach of any children and to contact the company for a free replacement child-proof cap.
Today I'm signing a historic executive order to combat the scourge of addiction and substance abuse. Big deal in this country and probably in every country.
Well, you heard him, the president now signing an executive order called the Great American Recovery Initiative, hoping to combat substance abuse and addiction around the country. Sources say the initiative is meant to coordinate a national response to addiction across government, healthcare, and faith communities around the country. The co-chairs of the new initiative, RFK Jr. and Catherine Burgum, spoke alongside the president, sharing their experiences with addiction. Catherine O'Hara has died. She was 71 years old. Her agent confirmed her death at her Los Angeles home today after what was described as a brief illness. O'Hara was an actress and comedian known to generations from film classics like one of my favorites, Home Alone, and another favorite, Beetlejuice. Bradley Blackburn looks back at her life and so many memorable moments.
She was an actress who practically jumped off screen. Catherine O'Hara, who played Kevin's mom in the Home Alone films. Designer Delia Dietz in Beetlejuice.
If you don't let me gut out this house and make it my own, I will go insane and I will take you with me.
And Moira Rose in the hit series Schitt's Creek.
Do you realize the baby is crying?
I do, yes. O'Hara was born in Canada. She got her start with the Second City in Toronto and was a founding member of SCTV.
Gee, I don't know.
It's where she first worked with longtime collaborator Eugene Levy. Long before Schitt's Creek, they helped popularize the mockumentary form in films like Waiting for Guffman and Best in Show.
She was very popular back then. She had dozens of boyfriends.
Hundreds.
Hundreds.
Yeah, hundreds.
She was also a writer, explaining to CBS in the 90s it came in part from necessity.
Pretty frustrating to just be a regular sort of actress waiting around, for someone else to write you something or to somehow get an opportunity to do a good script.
O'Hara appeared in dozens of works, not all of them comedies. The voice of Sally in The Nightmare Before Christmas, and last year a dramatic turn in HBO's The Last of Us.
Let's try something different.
That earned her an Emmy nomination, and so did another role as a film executive who climbed to the top of Hollywood in the studio.
They're influencers. Most of them don't even go inside. They just make their red carpet TikToks and leave.
An unconventional, captivating star who's now left us, but will keep making us laugh.
My answer is a yes. A clangorous, vociferous yes.
Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
The laughs continue. All right, when we come back, Henry Blakes has your Arctic cold forecast next.